Hey, good morning, everybody. It is Zach Eats Breakfast, the re-premiere. I am Zach. This is going to be breakfast. You see, I have a lot of cereal behind me today. We are eating Raisin Bran, and we're going to cut away for a moment. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. Good morning, everybody. It's Zach Eats Breakfast. I'm Zach. This is breakfast. That's breakfast. And this is my guest, Clint, from High Score Saloon. So, all right, that's the show, everybody. Good night. No, I got a few things to talk about. We'll get to Clint. He's kind of important, I guess, for the show. First guests and everything. No, first I want to talk about a couple of things, a couple of different. We'll start with the smallest. Play Fortnite at all, Clint?
I don't own a system newer than the N64.
All right, you don't play Fortnite.
No.
Do you know about it?
I do. I know all about it.
Oh, it's so much fun. I hate that game so much. I get so angry playing that game. Especially working my new job. I just come home and I'm angry. And I start to play it. I just immediately tilt. And I'm just like, I can't even enjoy my games now. But no, there's something really cool happening in Fortnite. They're always trying to expand on their world, although it's just a small island. And the mythos behind it. They had a special one-time event that happened in-game. They had a missile fire off in the game, and this only happened at a certain time, so you couldn't just get on whenever and see this event happen, because it's a real-time thing. So only people who were in the game at the time got to see it. The only way you can see it now is recordings that people were able to capture. But while everybody was enjoying watching this and being amazed at this rocket launching off and going into the sky and creating what seems to be some sort of space-time rift, not everybody was so nice. Most people stopped killing each other to watch this. Folks like Elemental Ray were not, and he set a new solo kill record in the game of 48 people, which is half. He killed half the people in that game. There's no way those people were happy trying to watch this amazing event take place and somebody coming up with probably a shotgun or something and just shooting them in the back of the head. That stinks. I'd hate to be those people.
That level of grief is not new for MMORPGs. Are you familiar with Eve?
Eve, I've heard of Eve.
Like the spaceship?
That's the really
huge
game, right? Where the currency became more valuable than real world money.
Yeah. There is a guy, and I played Ultima Online for years, and I went on to WoW and what was the other one? Like Age of Conan. I've played every MMO ever made. But with Eve, I never played seriously. I did beta testing type stuff. But there was a guy who convinced people to pretty much let him be their banking investor. And he had like 60 million credits or something. It ended up being like $190,000 in real life money back whenever you could still sell online currency on eBay.
Yeah.
He did this for years and was well known as like, hey, if you want to invest your money and get, that's how crazy this game was, like 10% returns every year, invest with him. And this guy had a ton of people's money, had battleships. He took everyone's money and the ship they'd all invested in, because you have to have like a cash to keep all your junk in. And he wrecked it, blew it up, and took everything on it and put it into place and sold them all. And he like pretty much ruined the game for 1,000 people. They said he had an entire server's money essentially locked up. So that level of grief is not new. I always enjoy it though, to be that petty in an online video game.
It's like your funny bone. It sucks to hit that for you.
Yeah.
It's hilarious for anybody who sees it. They got my nice thrift store mugs. Got Kenny DeMoss on it. It's not actually Kenny DeMoss, but it looks just like him.
Isabella DeVoy, I think she designed those.
Did she really?
I believe so.
I saw she was selling them. I didn't realize she designed them.
I think she did them.
She probably modeled it after Kenny.
Probably.
Maybe not intentionally, just subconsciously. Holy moly. So, you're a fan of Gorillaz.
I am.
I'm a fan of Gorillaz. And Gorillaz' new album, The Now Now, just came out 2 days ago. Humans came out last year, so no one expected a Gorillaz album in a year, because that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
You gotta wait 5 to 7 years for a new Gorillaz album.
They really came to prominence whenever I was probably 7th grade. So we're going back to like
1999 is when they
yeah.
first came out.
99, 2000.
With, like a single,
Yeah.
I think, and that was I think it was Dare.
And this
It was
is
either
their,
Dare or it was Clint Eastwood.
and this is their 5th album now.
This is their 6th studio album. That's not counting B-sides. Well, technically G-sides and D-sides. And then there were the remix albums by the Space Monkeys. But that's all lore stuff, I guess. Gorillaz lore is very interesting. Have you read the book? There's actually a book. It goes all the way up to Demon Days, the first 3 phases of Gorillaz.
I wish I could be like one of those music fanboys that like, I don't know, has like Britney Spears cutouts and posters on the wall. I just like music for my ears. Everything else I pretty much ignore on it.
Well, that's how I feel about like most music.
Yeah.
But with Gorillaz, they've got an extra layer to them because they're not real.
Yeah.
So there's a book. It's called Rise of the Ogre, and essentially all it is a giant interview with the band members, 2D, Russell, Noodle, and Murdoch, about where they came from, who they are, what they were like before the band, and what happened throughout the making of the first couple of albums. And it's really interesting because like Noodle, their guitar player, is she's from Japan. She's this little Japanese girl who doesn't speak any English at the beginning at all, and she was actually mailed to the Gorillaz.
Oh.
She Russell found a crate outside their door, and she was in it. She was like some sort of super soldier trial run thing that I guess some scientists thought, no, we can't be doing stuff like this. Locked everything behind code words and mailed her to the Gorillaz. Like, why not?
Like a musical Android 18.
Yes, except not an android.
Yeah.
She's just like musical Captain America, I guess, would be more appropriate. But not like the really boring Captain America from the movies.
Yeah.
Like fun Captain America.
I agree with that.
But no, Humans was really feature heavy. A lot of features. I think there was one on every single song on the album, which a lot of features is new for Gorillaz.
Yeah.
They've always had several. But this, the Now Now, has 3 featured artists on it. 2 named on a song I didn't write down the name of. And that's Snoop Dogg and Jamie Principle. Snoop Dogg appearing for the 2nd time on a Gorillaz album.
Really?
There is no De La Soul. Yes. The first was on Plastic Beach. Welcome to the World of Plastic Beach, the second track on that album.
Really?
Directly following orchestral intro or something along those lines.
Huh.
And then also George Benson adds his own bit of jazz guitar on Humility, the video of which features Jack Black and the newest member in the world of Gorillaz, Ace. Do you know who Ace is?
I don't.
Did you ever watch Powerpuff Girls?
Yes.
Do you remember the Gang Green Gang?
Absolutely.
The leader of the Gang Green Gang is the current bass player for the Gorillaz.
Really?
Yes.
How did they get that license?
I do not know.
That's
In lore, Murdoch Nichols is currently in prison. He's been framed by some crime kingpin fella
They need
for
a TV show.
smuggling drugs. They really did, or a comic.
Yeah.
They'd make a great comic, I think. So yeah. I like these cards. These are really cool. They got Zachy breakfast on them. And I have something to write my talking points on them, so that's always nice. You watch Arrow? You watch any of the Arrowverse shows?
I did. I got through the first 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. Season 3 of Arrow was rough.
It drugged so much it turned off all my affections for the show, and I have not picked it back up.
Season 4 has the best villain.
Who?
His name is Damien Dark.
Okay.
I can't remember who plays him, but he is the best villain that's been in the Arrowverse, and he's been the villain for Season 4 of Arrow. And he was also a villain for Seasons 1 and 2 of Legends of Tomorrow. No, Seasons 2 and 3 of Legends of Tomorrow.
I picked up Flash, and it's kind of taken over my heart. In
Oh,
comparison.
Flash is so much fun.
Yeah.
It's got a real good high energy to it that Arrow can't have. You couldn't have that on Arrow. It wouldn't work.
Flash is it's funny.
Yes.
That's always been kind of his shtick. But I wish DC could ever do a movie as good as their shows. In what world?
They do, but it's their animated films.
Yeah.
Their animated films are amazing.
So I just saw The Incredibles and Teen Titans Go is getting a film.
Yes, Teen Titans Go to the movies.
Yeah.
And supposedly, Teen Titans, the old animated show, could make a comeback if the Teen Titans Go movie does well. I don't know if that's just to try to get all the people who don't like Teen Titans Go to go see this movie.
I'm not a big fan of Teen Titans Go, but Teen Titans is great.
Oh, it's amazing. But Arrow is moving to a new time slot for the new season. It's moving back to 8. This means that certain elements are no longer appropriate. So I have to apologize, ladies and gentlemen, for Stephen Amell's thoughts on the change via Twitter. Quote, would have appreciated a heads up that Arrow is moving back to 8 p.m. before I reeled out 8,000 squats in anticipation of showing my full bum on the television. So unfortunately, you will not be able to see Stephen Amell's butt. Sad face. Yeah. I mean, for certain people, that guy is, he's a fit fella. I'm sure that disappoints a lot of folks.
He puts a lot of effort into it, way more than I would.
The bow he has doesn't actually fire arrows on that show. Yeah, it's like an arrow is attached to it, so he just pulls it back and it stays on the bow, and then they CGI in the arrows.
Probably a good move.
Probably a good move, because he fires arrows really close to where the camera is a lot of times, and if you hit like a camera guy with an arrow, I'd be
a dick about it and just shoot him wherever.
That'd be sad. So that's all my talking points that don't necessarily concern you. I'm going to find something really fun to do with these another time. Now, you are one owner, correct, of High Score Saloon.
One of two.
You and
Jared Nebel.
Yep. Jared Nebel.
Yep.
And you all seem like you get along very well.
We
mesh.
We're like brothers. I want to strangle him probably one day a week, and then 5 days a week we just kind of go about our way, and then one day a week we're good friends. But I will say I knew him in college, met him in college, and we lost touch and we became friends again. And whenever we started this, we were going up. This is only a 3.5, 4-year-old endeavor, top to bottom. Not just high score, arcades in general for me. He collected before he met me. But we would take road trips down to Louisville, Georgia, up to Indianapolis, and everywhere in between. I think we've been as far as like Kansas. But we just went last week to pick up an arcade game, and we still stayed in Louisville and went out drinking together and played pinball until 3 in the morning. So we're still good enough friends that we've been in business in some way together for about, I guess it's been almost 3 years now. And High Score is officially 6 months old.
Woohoo!
Has done well.
Should have brought a cake.
Yeah. But we still get along. We argue about normal stuff, not just business partners, but friends do, about, I want this to be done. His priority is here. He does all the games, all the arcade repair, which is pretty...
Oh, yeah. Anytime I'm in there, I always see him working on something.
For being a 30-year-old guy, it's a lost art. It really is. The 2 TVs alone, I think they quit producing in 2001-ish. He knows how to work on all of them. Not to mention, some of the pinballs we have are 10 years prior to his birth and beyond. And now he knows how to work on the new ones as well. And the technology has changed, absolutely. But he does a great job. But he does most of the game stuff. I do more of the marketing and getting us set up for new acquisitions as well as like expansions of what we offer down there.
All right.
So we have different roles for sure, but we also work very closely together.
So you have how many games currently in-house?
In High Score, we have right now 11 pinball machines with room for one more, and about 22 arcade games.
Woo!
Which is not that many, truly. We have I know we're getting ready to do a big switch up on everything. We're going to cut down to 10 pinball machines, but 10 really solid titles. Everything that we have is going to be like a top 50 game.
Oh yeah. So you're probably taking out a couple ones. That you have now.
Some, whenever we started, me and Jared didn't have any investors. It was me and him only, quite literally. We moved everything down those stairs by ourselves. We carried each game, and we had friends that helped us with repairs and screen printing, things of that nature. But as far as the actual business operation, it was just us. So we had, and we funded everything ourselves. So we have some low-end games that, as far as pinballs, that we have swapped out since, and we're still continuing to do so. But now we're at a point where we've purchased better games, and we can actually move those in and sell the other ones, or just put them in storage, because even though they might not be the best title, to some people they're nostalgic.
Yeah.
But just down there, I think we're going to end up at 38 arcade games and 4 console systems. But over at Comic Quest on Morgan Avenue, where Jim and Monty do a fantastic job as far as comics, tabletop gaming, we have 20 arcades over there, and they're not junk. We've got an X-Men 4-player, Marvel vs. Capcom, Miss Pat Galaga, Heavy Barrel, Jurassic Park, Pole Position, Centipede, Frogger, Donkey Kong, Mario Brothers.
There's 20 in there?
Yeah.
I've been in there. It does not look like 20.
Oh, yeah.
That's very well used space thing.
We have gotten good at the real-life Tetris of arcade games. But in addition to that, I think we have another 30 arcade games in storage that we work on, because we like to keep the rotation fresh. The beautiful thing about arcade games is you get one. To operate like one of those 60-in-1 games is actually illegal. You're stealing someone else's art because you're downloading it, you're putting it on something, and then you're charging to play it, be it for a quarter or for a $10.
I did not know that. I came across something like that recently in a barcade, if you will, up in, I'm not going to say where.
Yeah.
But it was a Neo Geo machine that had like 100 different games on it.
161. That's a 161 cart, illegal. It is. And now with arcades that have made a resurgence without a doubt, pinball too, that stuff is actually getting cracked down on, because Midway Valley, they have a parent company that still makes gambling machines, and they will send you a cease and desist followed by a lawsuit for it is essentially you're stealing.
Yeah.
It would be like playing music over a PA system and charging people to come listen to it, except for it's a video game, something someone created. So all of our machines are dedicated, and with that comes the challenges of moving things around, but it also comes, it's very unique. All the cabinets look different. So instead of just having a black cabinet with a bunch of art on it, each cabinet has its own dedicated art, and I don't know, I really like it.
Gives it a better visual feel.
Yeah, absolutely. It's authentic.
People play with their eyes first.
And even our monitors are original. They're the old. We don't use any flat screen monitors. Everything is original hardware, as much as we can make it. There are times that parts aren't produced, and we have to, go a little bit outside the box. But if it is produced and we can fix it that way, we're going to.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. One complaint I do have: you do have a Street Fighter game.
We do.
You do not have a Street Fighter game with Dan. And I love my boy Dan. Dan's great. He has a pink gi. Who doesn't love a pink gi?
What version was he?
I can't remember.
Was it Alpha or Turbo?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I will say I do like Street Fighter, but I always play Street Fighter 2, the one for Super Nintendo, and that is the version we have. We try to cater to customers, but I won't lie whenever I say there are certain games in there that I just personally really love. A lot of our pinballs reflect that.
I saw a haunted house pinball in there.
It is.
And I did not know that there was any sort of pinball that had dual layers to it.
Oh, yeah. 3.
And 3?
Yeah, because it has the upper playfield, the normal, then the lower.
I didn't see the upper playfield. I only saw the regular and then a lower, which I'd never seen on anything before.
There are a couple, I believe. Now there are a ton of 2. Quite a few, actually. Electra is another one that's older. But a lot of the newer ones that we have, like Shadow, actually has a mini playfield in the top left. Mm-hmm. And it currently is broken because a chip on it caught on fire. But there's a mini playfield up there. But even like Game of Thrones, the premium edition.
There's a Game of Thrones pinball?
There is. And the premium edition has another layer to it you can play on. A lot of these have like pop out, where you have other flippers. My favorite is Shrek and Family Guy. same layout, different art, but there's a mini playfield with mini flippers and a little ball bearing that you play with.
That's nuts.
And it's by Stern, and pinballs have just gotten so advanced now. You know, they started off with the roll wheel.
Yeah.
And then they went to the digital display, like, you know, just like a clock. And then they went to the dot matrix display, which is pretty much a ton of little lights that they're fired off and they make an image or they write something. Whereas that used to just have to be, say you had a Metallica pinball, it would just say Metallica. Now it doesn't have to, it just has a huge amount of art and it will say Metallica across, and you know what the hell it is, just looking at it, but they spell it out. That's gone even further now, and pinballs have LED displays in them, actual televisions, and have gone as far as like the Batman 66. Not only does it have that, and it plays actual episodes of the original Batman with Adam West, there's a little TV on the playfield that also plays little episodes of Batman. But here's the trade-off. Our cheapest game, 8-ball, which is an alphanumeric, is probably worth $1,000 in very, very nice shape. That Shadow, it is a high-end D&D game. It was $3,500, and it broke down, and it's in worse shape than than the 8-ball. And the new one that we just bought, which you're going to be the first publication, including our page, to know this, we actually bought two. And I'll go ahead and reveal both. We have to go pick them up still. Star Wars Stern, we bought. That's a pro model, and it's going to be down at High Score. And then a good friend and wonderful business owner and human in general made a post on his Facebook page. He owns a local business called Maiden's Brew Pub. Has great beer, great food, great location, great staff. He jokingly made a post that said, "Hey, does anyone want to buy me this?" And it was an Iron Maiden pinball.
Oh.
And I messaged him and I said, "We'll buy it for you. We'll put it in there if you want." And normally we don't do that, especially these games are $6,000 a piece. We don't buy those and just put them somewhere unless we really like the person. But John's great, and he did a takeover for us, and I've always liked his beer and food, and he's great at what he does. And he was hyped about it. So I was like, yeah, we'll buy you an Iron Maiden to kind of go with the theme. So those are our two new pinballs. Stern Iron Maiden that just came out this year, and then the Star Wars that just came out last year, I believe. Pro model on both.
Wow.
So we dropped...
Got some breaking news on Zach Eats Breakfast for once. I like it.
We dropped some money. I mean, I think they're about $5,500 to $6,000 a piece.
Whoa!
They're not cheap.
I paid that much for a car.
That's more expensive than my truck. But, you know, that's what it's all about. Me and Jared didn't do this to kill it financially. We did it to bring arcade back to Evansville. We were the ones who started the first retro arcade in Evansville. We provided the games to another business.
Heard about that. I never made it there.
And now we provide games to Comic Quest, obviously, about 20. And we have our own business. But everything we do is centralized on not just, I used to play this as a kid, but I've never played this. Holy shit, this is fun.
Yeah.
That's our favorite part of it, is introducing you to something new.
So I like that at High Score, you have your pinballs, you have your arcades, you have a couple of consoles as well. You have,
4.
Original Nintendo.
Original Nintendo that we usually keep on Duck Hunt. Sometimes we'll put something else on it. And then we have a table that has Nintendo and Super Nintendo built into it. And then we also have a Nintendo 64 bar side. But that Nintendo 64 has been traded out. We've done an original Xbox so people can play Halo. We'll do GameCube so people can do Smash and Melee and Double Dash.
I've done not Super Nintendo, the Nintendo 64. I like coming in there and I try to beat my own record of Super Mario 64 that I've done now in about 45 minutes.
Oh, really?
Which is nowhere near crazy good, because there are people who do it in like 10. With 15 stars, I've been able to beat it. And that's the best I've ever done. I'm happy for that. I'm proud of that score.
We see some weird things in there. We see people do speed runs, but to date, the wildest thing I've ever seen is we have a classic built into the table.
Yeah.
People can come in, it's free to play. And there are RPGs on that, which take 40 to 80 hours to beat. And I walked by one of our regulars and he was playing Final Fantasy 3. And I was like, what are you doing? You're only here for... You're for 4 hours every 3 weeks, maybe? You're never going to beat that. And he was like, Everyone thinks like that. He said, I've come in here. He said, who's going to play Final Fantasy 3 but me? He said, the only save game is me. That guy beat Final Fantasy 3 at a location that he only went to. Anyone could have deleted his score at any time. They could have completely cleared his game, but because no one even, like, I'm not going to play an RPG if I'm going to have 3 hours.
I think you have additional breakfast.
Oh, I do. Thank you. Can I eat this too?
Yeah, you can eat that too. Probably going to need a fork.
Yeah. Can I pause?
Oh, yeah, pause. We're going to pause.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, I mean, I edit the video later. It's still one take. Or I could just leave it on and sit here and talk to the camera. So this is Zach Eats Breakfast. I'm Zach. We've been talking to our guest, Clint, one of the 2 owners of High Score Saloon. Now we've been talking about some really cool stuff today, but please do stay tuned for future episodes, as every day, Monday through Friday, this show will happen. I'm excited to bring it back to you. And here comes our guest again.
I'm back.
He's sitting down right now. I'm Zach.
Clint. Both. But as I was saying, yeah, the guy beat the game, even though it's like a 50-hour completion for a normal person.
Wow.
He thought outside of the box. So I thought it was really cool that he was like, everyone comes in there and they play Mario Kart, F-Zero, maybe Mario a little bit, which is another long game.
Yeah.
But
I play Zelda. That's really all I play with. Is I play.
Someone's beating Zelda in there too.
Me.
But, yeah, well, you cheated. That doesn't
Me.
count. You beat it in like 8 minutes or something.
I beat it in under 4.
Under 4 minutes. Taught me something about a game, though, that I didn't know. Link to the Past is probably my favorite Zelda.
That was my first Zelda game.
Oh, me too.
That ties for my favorite Zelda game, actually, with Majora's Mask.
Man, I do not like that game. Absolutely love Ocarina of
Well, you know what? You're allowed to be wrong.
Yeah.
I'll give that to you.
Have you played Link Between Worlds on the DS?
I really enjoy it.
Very
I
good.
did not think it was going to be good. I didn't think it would be bad. I did not think it would live up to Link to the Past.
Well, it's essentially Link to the Past with more.
Yeah.
And it's well done. Very well done.
It's a very good expansion on that particular world.
You're not wrong. So I did lie. I do own a newer console than an N64.
A DS?
3DS XL. But
New 3DS XL?
I was like the very first model we made.
Okay, so 3DS XL.
But I use that for pretty much RPGs only. Like anything new they've recreated.
Yeah. Now, one thing that struck me funny about Link Between Worlds. So there's the second world you go to. It's not the Dark World that you went to before, but it uses the exact same overworld music and the exact same like sprites for the bad guys.
Yep.
And I'm like, this shouldn't be this. This should be maybe something similar,
Yeah.
but it shouldn't be exactly the same thing. That was my only gripe with that game.
You know,
And that is, if that's your only gripe with the game,
Oh yeah.
that's great.
I mean, that was the first game in a long time to actually suck me in and I was immersed in it.
Oh yeah.
I felt like a kid again. And some games can give me that feeling back. Like I played Chrono Trigger for the first time. It pulled me in a good bit too.
Oh, you said for the first time?
Yeah. 30 years old for the first time playing Chrono Trigger. I know. And I'm an RPG guy, but that game's up to like $100 now. But they put it on the classic, and I bought one of those. And I was always a Final Fantasy guy. And I loved PlayStation as well. A game called Wild Arms. No one knows what the hell it is. You're like a robotic cowboy. Like Final Fantasy VII, never beaten it. I bet I've only put 2 hours.
I have never played Final. Well, that's a lie. I started Final Fantasy VII. I bought it for my PS3, and I started it, and then I just never got around to going back to it. My favorite Final Fantasy game in the main series is probably Final Fantasy IX, which I also haven't beaten. A friend let me borrow it. It is a 4-disc game for the PS2. The second disc didn't work on it. So I couldn't finish that game. And I tried to go back to that as well. I was just like, this is so much work to try to do again for something that I've already done to a certain degree.
I like Final Fantasy II. American 2.
American 2. Yeah, cool. I had Final Fantasy 1. I really enjoyed it. I had it for Nintendo. I bought it. I got it real cheap. I got a heck of a deal on it. I got it for like $2 or something.
Oh, wow.
I have since Lost it. Well, not lost it. We won't go into that. That's another story for another time. But I had a really hard time figuring it out more than anything because it was just the cartridge. I feel like if you have the book for games like that, it helps because the books explain stuff because it's hard to fit all that into a game like that.
Yeah.
You really got to put the lore into a separate medium.
Breath of Fire is very good as well. If you ever get a chance, it's crazy. We were talking about Fortnite. I didn't know you can play Fortnite on your phone.
On iPhone right now.
That is insane.
It's not out on Android yet.
That is bananas.
I can't wait for it to be out on Android. I will play it on my phone because Android phones you can connect PS4 controllers to via Bluetooth.
I played a game as a kid called Lunar. One of my favorite RPGs ever made. It's wonderful. Whenever I started at the job I currently have, I was looking for like good RPGs for my iPhone. Lunar is on the iPhone. Final Fantasy Tactics, another underrated game.
Out of all Final Fantasy games, Tactics is my favorite.
Oh, Tactics is great. Ramza?
Or Tactics 2 even.
I've got it on my phone right now, actually.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misspoke. Final Fantasy Tactics Advanced.
Yeah. That's actually what's on my phone.
Okay. And then A2. Which, anymore, if you play A2 on like a newer DS, like a DSi or a 3DS, you can't get the full experience. Because that was one of those games where you could attach the Game Boy game to the DS as well, on the old school DSs, and you got a special character from the first one that's not available in the A2.
What's your all-time favorite video game?
I have 3. I don't put them in any particular order. Kingdom Hearts.
Never played them.
Oh.
Not one.
Sonic the Hedgehog. And Uncharted.
Uncharted, that was PS3?
That is PS3, and now PS4 as well for the last 2 games that came out. And not to say best video game, favorite video game series that I would put above all others are those 3. And then the Sonic Mania that came out last year. Have you tried that at all? Did you enjoy like Sonic 2?
Oh yeah.
It is a love letter to Sonic 2.
Really?
It is really good.
Everyone likes Sonic.
And it's getting re-released this year with physical copies because it was digital only. The special edition was $70, and it came with the statue of Sonic on an old school Sega. It was like that big, $70.
Not bad at all.
With a Sonic Legacy Sega Genesis cartridge that opened up and had a gold ring in it. I was like, the regular was $40, so for $30 more, you got this dope Sonic statue and like some collectible stuff to go with it.
You can't beat that.
No, not at all. Oh, there's a button on the system that Sonic's standing on. It's the power switch for that style of Sega Genesis. And you flip it on, and you hear Sega.
Really?
Yeah.
I always remember like the more angry Sega. Like the commercial. I don't know if I had to list my 3 favorite video games. Ultima Online would be number 1, bar none, not even close. The very first MMORPG ever made, I put hours on it. As a 7th grader, I was making like $3,000 every summer in all my middle from selling gold online. I love the game. I played it 12 hours a day, all summer long.
I wish I'd have known that was a thing when I was in school.
Other than that, Pokemon Blue.
I had red and yellow.
My brother had red.
My brother had blue.
So Pokemon Blue is, I don't want to say, I wish I could rate it as high as Ultima. The only reason I can't is Ultima opened up my eyes to I like games that don't end. And they don't have grinding. Sandbox style. Because Pokemon has grinding. You have to level your people up if you don't do a good enough job. So Pokemon Blue, Ultima, and they're close, but Ultima does edge it out. I don't do these 3-way ties. And another game that I put enough time on, I mean, my third one is probably the closest. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
The original with Mike Tyson?
The original.
I had Punch-Out, but I had Punch-Out with
Mr. Sandman.
Yeah.
Or Mr. Dream. I think it was Mr. Dream.
Mr. Dream, I think that sounds right. And I never made it to Mr. Dream, but
It's tough.
yeah, that bull guy would get me a lot.
Bald Bull. I played that game hundreds of hours. I did beat it though.
Speaking though of Pokemon Blue, have you heard about the remakes that they're doing of the Generation 1 games?
Yes.
What do you think?
I go and play through Pokemon Blue, Red, and or Gold, Silver every year, at least one. It holds water for me. I'll probably get it. I'll probably play it.
It seems interesting to me. Because what they're trying to do with it, it seems, is pull in this audience whose first experience with Pokemon was Pokemon Go. What with the no random encounters anymore, if you haven't heard.
Oh yeah, I hate that game.
What's that?
I hate that game.
I enjoy it to a degree. When it first came out, it was very bare. Now they've added a lot more to
That's
it.
whenever I played it, but still, I'm like, where's the challenge? You're not finding anything really. Like the guild or the gym system, that was terrible when it first came out.
Well, now with the new, the legendary system that they have where you can go and do raids at gyms, that's a lot nicer. Because you either got to work really hard to do something yourself, which with some of the harder to obtain rare Pokemon, you can't do it yourself. You've got to get a group, 5 or 6 people. It doesn't necessarily have to be people that you know. If you see people out and about playing it, when something's cool going on, anybody who's at that gym at that time can take part in your raid. So it's just like community building, which is what the game was supposed to do anyway.
It was just
which is cool.
The battle system was lazy. It was, how do I fight? Tap, 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 tap.
Yeah.
There was nothing to it. And I was like, there's no strategy to that, because the best thing about Pokemon, it was a strategy game. It was a turn-based RPG.
I think they're looking at revamping the battle system soon.
That'd be good.
They did recently add in friends and trading, so now you can trade Pokemon with people.
That's good.
Which is something that really should have been out
Yeah.
when the game released. But no, because the new Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee for the Switch, you won't just walk through grass and maybe run into a Pokemon. You'll actually be able to see the Pokemon on the screen
Go up to
and
them.
run into them if you want. And it's still throwing Pokeballs, kind of like in Pokemon Go. They haven't said whether or not you have to weaken the Pokemon first with battling, but it won't be just like a random press ball to throw.
Yeah, that was another thing I didn't like. I would throw a ball perfectly and it just doesn't catch. It was like a bad...
Or you can do the curved balls with it.
But it was just a random number generator. I hate that. It's not fun. I hate Pokemon Go. It's a garbage game. You shouldn't play it. Unless it's better now, then maybe you can.
Wait till it's better.
Yeah.
Even better.
Wait.
Because I'm sure it will not stop growing. It seems to have a pretty decent
it was
following.
huge. I remember going to the river the first week it opened down here, and it was insane.
I had a phone that could play it at the time, but at the time I didn't have a phone that had data. So I could only play at places with Wi-Fi, like my house.
Yeah.
So I couldn't actually find anything really. Like I just had to turn off Wi-Fi, turn on Wi-Fi, hope something pops up near me and try to catch it.
It did ruin my life because I played it for 3 weeks. I mean, everywhere I went, I had it out, and I was trying to play it in my bedroom. I'd go to the bar by my house, and I'm meeting people and talking to them, like, oh, what are you doing? And they immediately walk away because I'm throwing a Pokeball at Caterpie, and I'm just like, leave me alone. I'm here for this, not you.
So that is really cool. We've pretty much reached the end of breakfast. I've got
Oh yeah.
little chunks left
I had
of mine.
2 breakfasts.
You had 2 breakfasts. You beat me. You win. You win breakfast, Clint.
That's
Congratulations. Thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. It was fun.
Now we have something new we're doing to end things with guests.